All right. Welcome everybody to Sacred Ground Community Church and Sangha. I'm Parson Michael, and this is our December service. It's our Solstice service. It's our one Christmas service. It's a mindfulness service, all wrapped into one. And welcome, folks who are joining us online. And I hope you're able to hear us well. You can communicate with us in the chat if there's any problems at that end. And welcome, folks who are joining us here in our home because it's about 7 degrees outside or so.
That's at 5 in my car.
Five degrees and something like 7 below with the wind chill. So we decided maybe not do an outdoor service this morning. So we wimped out and decided to do this. So we are, for those of you who may not be familiar with us, we are a church, a sangha, a spiritual community. We have been melding the beneficial teachings of Buddhism, Christianity, and earth-centered spirituality since 2009. This is kind of a special year for us. It's a sabbatical year. We're only having a few services. We had one in October. We're having this one today, and we'll have services again, one in February and one in April. So a little different. We were meeting, I think, almost every Sunday last year. So without further ado, this is a Tibetan singing bowl. And one of the things that we aspire towards is just being present, being right here, not thinking about what's going to happen later this afternoon or 2 years from now, not worried about what happened last night or last week or 6 months ago, but being right here in this moment. And we use the belt bowl to help us. And we invite the bowl to sing. And then we have this almost silly job. Enjoy the sound of the bowl. It sounds so easy, and yet it can be, maybe especially for some of us, tough. But that's the invitation. So, and everything is always invitational here. Don't feel, we're going to sing a song. I don't want to sing. Fine. We're going to do a prayer. I don't pray. Whatever is appropriate for you. You're invited, but no expectations. Right now, the invite is to enjoy this moment, this sound of this bell. I just had a thought for those of you who are listening out there. I know there's a couple different ways the sound works, and I don't think we checked that. That may have sounded wonky We were muted. We were muted. And I don't know if we can. I apologize for that muting. And please, we do appreciate your patience with us. Let's just do another. So you were probably, the whole meditation was probably a silent meditation, which maybe is appropriate. We'll do another moment, though, just to invite people to breathe in and out. In and out. Deep and slow. Dwelling in the present, which is wonderful. What we're going to do now is we're going to invite us to what we call the Namaste bow, to honor the sacred in each other, to honor the goodness in each other. And it really helps if you first think of the goodness within yourself, because that really helps us to see that in the other. And we'll be invited to do this in this room, those of us who are here, but those of you who are online, you're welcome to bow in as well and just envision it. And envisioning is so important. Envision it as going out to all others who are listening live or who are listening to this recording later today or later this month or 10 years from now. So I'll invite the bell to sound, and then we'll be invited to offer our bows to each other. I think we're going to probably have the wonky sound on the singing bowl because I don't want to mess with the sound again and shut everybody off. So apologies for that. And anybody who wishes is welcome to come up here and bow to folks out there as well. Of course, no obligation. And then, of course, you're being on camera, which that's a choice. So.
Watch out, fire behind you, Zeus. Candle.
Our first reading, a very short one, comes from the Irish poet William Butler Yeats from his book, The Celtic Twilight. One night, this poet Yeats awoke and he heard a voice in his room. And on page 60 of Celtic Twilight, this is what he reported the voice said to him. No human soul is like any other human soul. And therefore, the love of God for any human soul is infinite. For no other soul can satisfy the same need in God. And we're going to be singing the 4 verses to It Came Upon a Midnight Clear. Those of you who are online, sorry we haven't sent that out to you. You might want to do a little lyrics. It came upon the midnight clear, and see if you can find the 4-verse version. We're going to just sing verse 1 right now.
What page are we on?
And it is on page 13 for those of you who have the Sacred Ground December hymnal.
Those are pretty new copies. These are pretty fresh.
It's just the cover page is trash.
So, it came upon the midnight clear, that glorious song of old, from angels bending near the earth to touch their harps of gold. Peace on the earth, goodwill to men, from heaven's all gracious King. The world in solemn stillness lie, to hear the angels sing.
I think we're gonna try to move it. Is it me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
You want me to move it?
Try it. We'll see if that works. I think so. People can let me know. Yeah, we don't hit mute again or anything. Oh, we'll see if I can read. Comments. Well, welcome everybody. Welcome folks that are here, braving the cold weather and the snow. It's so beautiful though. It's so beautiful out there. A couple things for folks that are here. If you need to go to the bathroom, they're upstairs. You can go up these steps, or if you want to be like, you're not going to be on camera if you go up these steps, but you could be totally, if you go that way, there are more steps. And we turned down the heat in the house, so it wasn't running. So we got a blanket here, blanket there, blanket there. If anybody's cold, put on a blanket. So that is, you definitely can do that. And those of you joining us online, thank you so much for comments. And my eyes are not great, but I see many people that we know and love that are here joining us, and maybe some new people too. So I will look at those comments here in a minute, but thank you so much. So you are welcome and encouraged to use that live chat and to connect with us and to connect with all the other people that are watching on YouTube. So thank you so much for joining us on this December morning. We really appreciate it. And you are welcome to let us know who you are, where you're from. If you would like, we love to see where people are coming from. So let's see what I'm doing next. So I'm gonna do a second reading, and then I'm gonna lead us in a gratitude meditation. So second reading is gonna come from Caitlin Matthews, The Celtic Spirit, right here. We got that right here. One of Michael's favorite books. It's a day-to-day. It's a daily meditations and readings. So I will start out with this, and this one is for, it's called The Prayer of Midwinter. You would read this actually on December 21st, which is winter solstice. So here is Caitlin Matthews. On the shortest day of the year at dawn, a thin finger of dawn light passes into the aperture of Brugh na Boyne, otherwise known as New Grange in Ireland. This megalithic enclosure was erected long before the Celtic peoples arrived in Ireland. Midwinter Day gives us the least period of light, followed by the greatest period of darkness. Spend some time silently meditating upon the light in the darkness. Be aware of the potentialities of light that lie within the darkness. Pray to become aware of the potentialities within your own soul, which are vaster and more mysterious than your manifest life. Reading from Caitlin Matthews. I'm going to lead us in a gratitude meditation, and I'm just going to do a plug for this book. It actually was in our email. This book, Wake Up Grateful, that I just picked up, I don't know, a couple months ago, and it is like life-changing for me. It's written like a decade ago, but and the premise of it is just to wake up grateful, not needing to have gratitude for anything in particular, just to be waking up and be alive on this day. And I just love that concept. And she has lots and lots of activity I've written in this book. I love to read and and make notes, and I've loved it. So we're just going to do a short gratitude meditation. And I'm going to have us just get in our bodies once again. And maybe even like just think about the way you're sitting. Think about your spine. Doesn't have to be erect, but just think about your body. If you want to, you could close your eyes. And we're just going to do some breathing first, breath made visible in our bodies. So you might actually want to keep your eyes open for a minute. But we're just going to, if you want to, again, all invitational. Making breath made visible. When we breathe in, we're going to take our hands and hold them in. And I'm going to invite you to hold your breath a minute after the inhale, and then exhale, open back up. So it's just kind of your breath made visible. Inhale. Do it with an inhale. Hold it for a minute. Kind of hold with your hands, and then exhale, let it go. And when we're doing this breathing and this movement, I'm going to give you the opportunity just to think about some things you're grateful for. So you could think about one thing. You could think about many things we're going to do about 10 breaths. So with each breath, you can think about something new. So you're breathing in what you're thankful for, and then you're going to hold it in your heart and actually hold it with your hands, hold your breath for a minute, and then let that thing go. It could be a person, it could be anything. It could be activity, something you're looking forward to, something that's happened in the past. You can just meditate on one thing or many. So I will lead us a little bit, and then we will just do it the last 5 times in silence at your own pace, breathing in, holding whatever you want to hold in your heart, and then just letting it go back to back to the earth. So just notice your body and your breath, those things you might be thankful for at this time of year. I invite you to breathe in something you are grateful for, to hold it to your heart, to exhale and slowly just let that thing go. Deep breath in, something you're grateful for. Hold it to your heart and let it go. Breathe in gratitude. Hold it. Let it go. I'm going to let you do it at your own pace. So we'll just be silent for a few minutes, breathing in at your own pace, holding it and letting it go. If you want to do one more, it's your opportunity to do one more. And I invite you just to go back to a normal breath. Again, feeling your body. Gratitude just for being here, with being able to breathe, with waking up. To have that gratitude spread out into the world. If you want to open your eyes, you can. Peace and amen. Thank you all for being here. All you guys. Yeah.
Whew. Well, I've now shed my first tears of this service. That's Ollie, just totally, it got me to open my heart. So thank you. Wow. I have a dear friend who's in his 90s, and he said to me once, he says, there's a lot of good things that you can have too much of. He says, but not gratitude.
It's true.
Boy. Okay. There's a Tibetan Buddhist teacher who says, the spiritual warrior is always on the verge of tears. And I do appreciate that, because I certainly feel that warriorship a little bit more when I am on the verge of tears. Those are soul moments. Our third reading will be from the Gospel of Luke. I'll speak about it for a moment, but first I'll invite the bell to sound. One of the things that Ollie and I sometimes talk about are the law of unintended beneficial consequences. Because we talk about the law of unintended consequences, so let's focus on the beneficial ones. And while we're only having one service this year, so we're not doing the full Advent series and that, it's like, well, here's a beneficial consequence. In this service, I get to go, or we get to share a little pre-birth of Jesus, post-birth of Jesus. And so the kind of creates a little different kind of service, which as well as Solstice. So it's sweet. And right now I'm going to share from Luke chapter 1, verses 39 through 56. This is Mary going to visit her older cousin Elizabeth, they're both pregnant. And Elizabeth is pregnant with what will be John the Baptist. Mary's pregnant with who will be Jesus. And Mary gives this speech, or this, I'll call it a doxology, a technical name for seminarian types like me, but gives this praise song. And it also echoes way back in the Hebrew Bible when Samuel's mother, Hannah, gives a similar kind of speech. So without further ado, I'll share this. Mary visits Elizabeth. And this is Mary's praise song is called the Magnificat. One more time with the bell. And thank you so much for choosing to be here. Thich Nhat Hanh says, time's not money. Time's life. That's what our time is. And so for you to share a bit of your precious life with us here today, I'm grateful for it. I hope it this waters beneficial seeds in you. We hope that. In those days, Mary set out and went with haste to a Judean town in the hill country, where she entered the house of Zechariah and greeted Elizabeth. When Elizabeth heard Mary's greeting, the child leaped in her womb. And Elizabeth was filled with the Holy Spirit and exclaimed with a loud cry, "Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb. And why has this happened to me, that the mother of my Lord comes to me? For as soon as I heard the sound of your greeting, the child in my womb leaped for joy. And blessed is she who believed that there would be a fulfillment of what was spoken to her by the Lord." And Mary said, "My soul magnifies the Lord, and my spirit rejoices in God my Savior. For he has looked with favor on the lowliness of his servant. Surely from now on, generations will call me blessed. For the Mighty One has done great things for me, and holy is his name. His mercy is for those who fear him, from generation to generation. He has shown strength with his arm. He has scattered the proud in the thoughts of their hearts. He has brought down the powerful from their thrones and lifted up the lowly. He has filled the hungry with good things and sent the rich away empty. He has helped his servant Israel in remembrance of his mercy, according to the promise he made to our ancestor, to Abraham, and to his descendants forever." And Mary remained with her about 3 months and then returned to her home. It came upon the midnight clear, verse 2. Still through the cloven skies they come, with peaceful wings unfurled, and still their heavenly music floats o'er all the weary world. Above its sad and lowly plains, they bend on hovering wing, and ever o'er its babel sounds the blessed angels sing. And Zeus will read that.
That's great. There we go.
Maybe have him.
You want him here?
Switch. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, you're starting here. I'm going ending there, and you're just gonna go that word.
Okay.
It's a reading from Sacred Ground. Oh, let the child be born to us. Christmas is often described as a festival for children. I tend to agree with that because who among us is not a child or who has not been a child? The child in us is always alive. Maybe we have not had enough time to take care of that child within us. To me, it is possible for us to help the child within us to be reborn again and again, because the spirit of the child is the Holy Spirit. It is the spirit of the Buddha. There is no discrimination. A child is always able to live in the present moment. A child can also be free of worries and fear about the future. Therefore, it is very important for us to practice in such a way that the child in us can be reborn. We celebrate the birth of a person who is very dear to humanity, a person who has brought light to the world, Jesus Christ. We hope that children like him will be born to us every moment of our daily lives. In the Buddhist tradition, we practice beginning anew. It is a very important practice. To begin anew means we are reborn fresh and new and able to start again. This is really the good news. The teaching of Buddha offers us ways to be reborn in each moment of our daily life and to learn to love again. There are those who are so discouraged that they no longer have the courage to love. They have suffered a great deal just because they have made an attempt to love and have not succeeded. The wounds within them are so deep that it makes them afraid to try again. We are aware of the presence of these people among us, all around us. We have to bring them the message that love is possible because our world desperately needs love. Oops.
Our fifth and final reading today comes from Matthew, the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 2, verses 1 and 2, as well as verses 9 through 11. And here we now move to after Jesus was born. The visit of the wise men. In the time of King Herod, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem asking, "Where is the child who has been born of the Jews? For we observed his star at its rising and have come to pay him homage." They set out, and there ahead of them went the star that they had seen at its rising, until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw that the star had stopped, they were overwhelmed with joy. On entering the house, they saw the child with Mary, his mother, and they knelt down and paid him homage. Then, opening their treasure chests, they offered him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And I invite you to join me for verse 3 of It Came Upon the Midnight Clear. And, this is a song that many of us have heard since, decades. And it's only recently that I realized this is a song about peace. Verse 3. Yet with the woes of sin and strife, the world has suffered long. Beneath the angels' strain have rolled 2,000 years of wrong. And man at war with man hears not the love song which they bring. Oh, hush the noisy men of strife, and hear the angels sing. We might notice that the language of these older songs, men, 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 and sometimes people change them. Sometimes I tend to keep them and then talk about those issues. Here, sadly, the word men seems most appropriate in this verse, as it is the men who are often responsible, not always, but often responsible for the wars. And my gosh, if you think of Gaza or Ukraine or any place else in the world, hush the noise, ye men of strife, and hear the angels sing. What a profound invitation. I'd like to talk a little bit today about greater possibilities. Thich Nhat Hanh speaks a lot about our interbeing natures, how we're all connected. And I was thinking about these Christmas stories. Elizabeth feels her child move within her. She could just say, oh, my baby kicked. She chooses to think of greater possibilities. Somehow, these magi get this call to follow this star. We traditionally think of three magi. That's because there's the three gifts. We don't know what was the intention in terms of how many magi were invited to envision, if they're 3, 7, 13. And I was thinking, oh, couldn't there be others who were invited but said, no. We have that story Jesus will share about the wealthy man who has done all these things. He's like, well, what else should I do? We'll go and sell all that you have, right? And follow. No, I can't do that. Chooses not to go with greater possibilities. Joseph, kind of ready to abandon Mary, as the story goes, has a dream, pays attention to it. Greater possibility. Dreams are often important with this. The Magi, right after this, I didn't read on. They have a dream. Don't go back to Herod. Go on your way. They follow their dream. Not just a dream that they're like, hey, I wonder if I can do this. A dream they have in the night. They follow it. I can think of one guy I met, friend of my wife's father, who talked about, I write down my dreams and then this has shaped what I do in my life. Greater possibilities. And they don't have to be huge, but what would be a little bit greater? We have some friends that we have a dinner party. We actually have it's a whole weekend now, but we gather together and I don't know which one of them thought of this, but one of them said, hey, how about if we come up with a question? We do this once a year. And there's one guy who's terrific at questions. And he'll come up with a question. And there's, I don't know, about 8 or 9 of us there gathered. And one year he raises the question, who is someone that had a great impact on your life, who's still alive, but you've lost contact with and would like to be in contact with again? Tell us that story. We sat for a couple hours sharing these stories. Tears and laughter. Greater possibility than if we just kind of sat around, right? It happens all the time. I was thinking of actually 2 different guys that, I'm imperfect. I think most of us are as human beings, right? There's people that I like them, but I kind of bang heads with them sometimes. And I'm like, oh gosh, I know I'm going to see this guy again. Ay. And I was like, okay, Michael, greater possibilities. Let's have this be these are sweet people. These are really, these are genuine good people, but I know that they push buttons in me. I push buttons in them. Can I be ready so that my buttons don't get pushed this time? Can I be trying my best not to push their buttons? Greater possibilities. Spoke with a young woman recently who said, oh yeah, we had a Thanksgiving gathering, my extended family. And she said, I didn't know. I was nervous about it. But everybody was kind to everybody else. It wasn't that long. But everybody, greater possibilities. And what are you here to do in your life? I'm going to read this by Yeats again. I'm sorry, this is not Yeats. This is what Yeats reported that this mystical Irish poet hears. No human soul is like any other human soul. Pause right here. We've met, thousands of people in your life? You have not met the person you said, oh, you're exactly like Jim that I knew. You might have a lot in common with Jim, but you are not exactly like Jim. Every human soul. No human soul is like any other human soul. And therefore, the love of God for any human soul is infinite, for no other soul can satisfy the same need in God. That is simultaneously so humbling and so uplifting. I've done my thing and I've done my grad school thing and I've read my spiritual books, but you know what? That guy at the Dairy Mart, that woman at the corner asking for handouts, they can do something that I cannot do. And they are here to do something that I am not here to do. And there's billions of us people here. And that's not even getting into the greater earthen family of the plants and animals and their roles too. What happens? What happens if we just start to open up on a moment by moment, week by week, day by day basis to those greater possibilities? And it made me start to think that, my gosh, that's what this whole Christianity thing is all about. This guy Peter's a fisherman, his brother Andrew's a fisherman. Hey, how about some greater possibilities? There's an empty tomb. Somebody must have stole that body. Well, or how about some greater possibilities? And can we have that for ourselves? And it doesn't have to be, and I know for myself anyway, if I try to make it too great, it ain't going to happen. But a little bit. Can I up it a little bit? And I love that as invitation. Something very similar to Yeats, I'll share from Buddhist tradition. And I've shared this a few times before. There's a Tibetan Buddhist story that there's a turtle. This one turtle that, I don't know, must have excellent lung capacity because it only has to raise its head above the water once every 100 years. And it raises its head, takes a deep breath, and then goes down for another century. In Tibet, they say, there's this little wooden ring floating on the ocean. Now, I've been to the Atlantic and Pacific. I've looked for it. I haven't seen it, but it's just this one ring. It's floating somewhere on the ocean, right? And let's think about what's the chances that that turtle is going to come up with her head in that ring? It's not impossible because there's the one ring in the ocean and there's the one turtle that comes up once every 100 years. It's not impossible, but it's not. Let's just say this. I think it's fair to say it would be rather precious. It would be rather precious if that turtle's head, if her head came up through the ring, that would be rather precious. And in Tibet, they say that to be born as a human being, to get the gift of being born as a human being is even more precious than that. We have lovely stories of Simeon and Anna who honor Jesus being born when Jesus' parents bring him to the temple and they say, oh my gosh, these sages say, Jesus is born. And Thich Nhat Hanh says, oh, that there would be a sage for each of you. Because you are here. And I think I can imagine that there are some people who come and say, whoa, this doesn't seem like a Christmas message to me. But I'm going to tell you what's in my heart right now. I envision my limited perception of what I think of as this Jesus that I've been honoring and turning to for 6 decades now. And I envision him walking in and going, okay, you're getting pretty close, Michael. The light comes in at Brug na Boyne. I've been there, Newgrange. Only one time. One day, winter solstice, that light comes in. And Caitlin Matthews, oh my gosh, do you have the reading right here? Thank you so much. Meditate upon the light and the darkness, the potentialities of light in the darkness. Become aware of the potentialities in your soul. The potentialities that Yeats got to be aware of. The potentialities that the Magi and the shepherds and Elizabeth and Mary and all of us get to be aware of. Happy solstice. Merry Christmas. Thank you so much for being with us today. it came upon the midnight clear, the fourth verse. You know, we have the story of the angels coming and singing peace on earth. And the fourth verse is an invitation toward greater possibilities of all of us singing the song. Verse 4. For lo, the days are hastening on, by prophet bards foretold, when with the ever-circling years shall come the age of gold, when peace shall over all the earth its ancient splendors fling, and all the world give back the song which now the angels sing.
Michael almost lost us. Oh, thank you, Millie. We're going to have a time now that if people want to express any joys or concerns. So if you're online with us, you can type something into the live chat and I will try to get to it. I think I have it right here. If you're live with us, you could just say them aloud if you want. And anyone, of course, most of our joys and concerns are the inner hearts, and we will just keep them there. But this is a time if anybody wants to voice any joys or concerns. So I'm going to let us again get in that state of inner peace for a second, just breathing in and out. And just give people a space to voice if they'd like to.
I'd like to express just a joy in the present moment and a recognition that there's so much to be grateful for in our world and in our life, and particularly in moments of what we would perceive as darkness or a lack of hope or a lack of manifestation of light. There is imagination for presence of those things and those things that sustain us, particularly joy. And Michael's message and Allie's reading, Zeus, you're reading all of this, for me, reminds me to be grateful for the present moment. And so I thank you for that. I'm reminded also of something I recently heard Patti Smith talk about. And she has a new book out. So I might look to that. But something about just this notion that though there is suffering in the world, always there is pain too, there is still so much we can tap into and connect with when it comes to joy. And I'm reminded of that, or I'm looking to this little drummer ornament that's behind Michael's head. Maybe when the camera shifts back, those of you online can see it. And that to me is a wonderful sort of picture of what the joy is in singing and praising, worshiping, whatever you want to call it. tapping into something alive in us. So thank you for reminding us of that, and so glad to be here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace. Do you know that Michael loves Patti Smith?
Okay.
Loves Patti Smith. Patti Smith, you love Patti Smith.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Love Patti Smith. I'm going to just say a couple things that people are saying hi. From Stacy, Mark, and Mom too. Merry
Pittsburgh.
Christmas and thank you. So they have there.
I'd like to say some things about gratitude for the fallowness of this sabbatical that you invited into this wild church and men's group community associated with sacred ground. I just realized from this service that has been very productive fallowness, rest. And I'm reminded by the winter, the fallow doesn't mean unfertile, right?
Mm-hmm.
It means regeneration. It means rest. It means gathering. And it means letting go of oneself and one's activity to let the sacred visit and live in me. And I felt that in this service today. I have gratitude for you putting the service on. There's the joy of coming together in spirit with others and the appreciation and gratitude from that fallowness of not having it for such a time, that there's this great appreciation. And I felt for myself a real hope. And I hope, the Greek word for hope is actually expectation, right? There's a gathering of that through this fallow time, to the lessened light that we have at the winter solstice of this dawn that's emerging, these greater possibilities. And I had to laugh because the Yeats poem that you talked about brought an insight to me. At the very time, because he's correct, I've called this divine genius, that each one of us has a divine genius that is so improbable and so unique that there's nowhere else in the entire universe. But at the very time, I began to realize that what Yeats said is true, right? That our uniqueness is evidence of the infinite love of God. That's the time when I want to surrender that uniqueness and not keep it to myself, right? But to let it go, right? And really let go and let God, as the phrase goes, let the Spirit take it up, and to trust that. Because I now acknowledge that uniqueness comes from that universal place and that all-embracing place. I can, without any worry, surrender completely to the same place it came from in all of its wonderful, weird, unique, amazing, idiosyncratic, somewhat crazy, somewhat unstable, somewhat wholesome, nature. And the fact that these two not only coexist, but absolutely need each other is just evidence of the absolute miracle of life, right? The absolute miracle of us being here, like you said in that tale, of us being more improbable than the turtle coming up for 100 years through the rain floating on the ocean. And that is true. And it makes me want to just abandon all reason and probability altogether, because it becomes almost ludicrous at this point, and just look at possibility. And that's really all that really matters. So blessings to all you out there. Thank you for providing this space for us and for these amazing insights that would never have come had I not come. So again, thank you.
Well, all that we hold in our hearts, all that was said out loud. We give thanks for what we have. We send our love out to those who are struggling and sick and suffering and sad. We hold them in our hearts. We know that this adds to the good. All that we do, all that we think, that we say, and ways we act, all can add to the good. Peace and amen.
Namaste.
Namaste. There's this one, Michael Malley.
Thank you. If we were out in the park, we would have a solo saunter time where people would be invited to go off and just commune with nature. And this comes from the Wild Church Model, wonderful book by Victoria Loers called Church of the Wild. And then her follow-up book with her sister Valerie, Field Guide to Church of the Wild, which we even have, we're able to share in that book as well. It's bitterly cold here in Central Ohio. We're not going outside today. But what I want to invite you all is, if you wish, is just take 2 or 3 minutes. And if you're sitting at home, you might want to look at your pet. You might want to look out the window. It might be nice outside. You might want to go out, just go out on the back porch and take a breath. And I invite folks here to just kind of look out the window for maybe 2-3 minutes, and then we'll have closing if anyone has any sharing from the readings, from the song, from the meditations, from this just silent couple of minutes with the natural world. I'll say one thing. I want to correct myself. In the final verse of "It Came Upon the Midnight Clear," and all the world give back the song, which now the angels sing. I misspoke when I spoke of humanity singing back the song, because that was not inclusive enough. So, and we have psalms where the trees and the birds and the animals all give back the song as well. And so, invitationally, greater expectations, think of all of our brothers and sisters beyond the two-leggeds, the rooted ones, the mineral ones, and all the rest. So we'll take 2 minutes or 3 minutes, and maybe I can point this toward a window. I don't know. Okay, we'll try. We'll try. You might just get bright light shining in, which that's not too bad. Hey. So yeah, let's. I'll invite the bell to sound. We'll move the camera for a moment, and then we'll come back and see if anyone else online or in person would like to share before we have our closing song and closing prayer. And again, thank you so much for being with us. It's our coming together, right? It's all of us, and that feeding on each other and learning from each other. And I'm so grateful seeing folks there, seeing, of course, the Pittsburgh crew and others out there with us today. Enjoy the sound of the bell. And a few moments of silence with the greater earthen family. Yeah, I think you're just going to get bright light, but that's all right.
You get the tree.
Oh yeah, get the tree. Oh, we'll get the tree. We do have a live tree which has given its life, and we give our gratitude for that. Hey all, look at the Christmas rose.
On front porch.
We'll just take a couple of final minutes here if anybody else or if anybody would like to share again in terms of it's on the step.
Oh.
If anybody would like to share anything from the service in terms of just a couple minutes of silence here, from the readings, from the music, just from being together. And I am going to see here. We have, you're welcome to share in the chat or you're welcome to share aloud. And I know, yeah, we'll give it a moment.
It's a little wobbly underneath. It's not flat.
I'll start by sharing. This is a Helleborus niger, and you might see the flowers on this plant. Some are just blooming, actually. And this is called the Christmas rose. And those of you who are on our email list, you would have gotten a notice that you're invited to listen to a week ago. I had an opportunity to share the story, the Swedish tale of the Christmas rose. So I give thanks for this beautiful flower that springs to life when everything else is as if dead in winter. I found myself thinking of that fallow time that Zeus was speaking of, and yeah, just gratitude for this. So yeah. So if you're not on our email list, you're welcome to ask to be on our contact list, and you could also probably look up if you go to Michael the Storyteller YouTube site if you want to see any of the Christmas videos. That's a different YouTube site than the Sacred Ground site. That's where I have my storytelling hat on. So, but I thought people might enjoy seeing the Helleborus there from the snow. Do you want to share any of if anybody shared anything on Hero?
It looks like we have Martha just said, I'm very grateful for you, Michael, and you, Ollie. So very nice. Very nice. Thank you.
Well, I can think of no better prayer of thanks than to close with the first verse of Silent Night.
Page 21.
Again, thank you all for joining us on this Solstice, Christmas, winter service. If you'd like to be on the email list and you're not, you can go to our website. Oh, you should do announcements if there's any. I guess
You can do that.
I do the announcements. So you can go to theholynow.org to learn more about us if you'd like to donate. We will have services, one service in February, one in April. Those will both be online and live in person, hopefully outdoors if it's not too cold. And yeah. And as I mentioned, you can check out some holiday stories on Michael the Storyteller YouTube site, which I think they're kind of the spirit of the holidays in those. And I guess that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. And thank you. Thank you for your uniqueness. Each of you here in this room, each of you here in this house, I include our 2 cats and our dog in that, as well as that helleborus, which is unique, unlike any other helleborus in the world. These lovely flowers that managed to survive still. Christmas cacti. I don't know if they're in the picture. Yes, they are. We live in a magical world. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, you live in a world. You live in a world where like certain things just go boom and come out with like pinks, and it's so wild. Look forward to seeing you all again. And we'll close with Silent Night, verse 1. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. We wish all peace, peace to all, peace for all. And may we all, in the remainder of 25 and into 2026, continue as the Buddha did and as the Christ did. May we continue to open our spirits to greater possibility. Peace and amen.